Oh dear. Hey everybody, it's me, Superpaulgames. The Confederacy extends contracts to 3 years. 3 years over the war. The Confederacy prepares for a long war. States struggling to fill quotas. New regiments are formed. We're trying to get that policy. We're, I think, maybe a week or two away from that in-game. And then once we get that, we're going to expand our recruiting. And you can see they're expanding their recruiting too. I thought we had 40,000 men. Maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe some of the 3-month contract ones are running out. Okay, Harney's got his supply situation fixed. In fact, I'm going to have him go back to the original goal, which was to go to Cairo, find out what's going on with the gunboats down there, or whoever is blockading Cairo for some reason. How dare they blockade us? It's our job to blockade them. We're having more of these that we could possibly do. What I really want is cavalry reform. Right now, our cavalry units are tiny. If you happen to remember from that first battle, our cavalry unit with the Northeastern Army had less than 400 men in it. If I recruited a cavalry unit right now, in fact, I can probably show you. Let's say I went to recruit one. I'm not going to. Let's say from Illinois. It would be only 500 men big, and that's not very effective. I want bigger cavalry units. And so that's probably going to be the next thing we get as soon as we have enough policy subsidies in it. You see we're getting close to it. We also want that for artillery, because our artillery, I don't even know if you count them brigades, are incredibly small. I think they can have 6 cannons in them, and we want to be able to increase that, but that's going to have to wait a little bit longer. How are our fleets doing? Last episode, our fleets were kicking ass and taking names. In fact, they even destroyed one of the enemy squadrons. They did so well. I love all these beautiful ports on fire. I was gonna say forts. I just needed an extra F in there. I got too many Fs to give. Harney is doing great. Oh! In fact, I'm gonna pause this a second. He's done so good, his unit can now have a perk. So, you got a lot of different perks you can pick from. We're going to use Flying Column 1. Copying the French invention, it's possible to break free from the heavy logistical chain. Its simplicity is to carry more rations and less clothing in tents to allow longer and faster marches. Movement speed is up by 10%, maximum supplies is up by 50%, and you level it up to like number 2 by marching. So if I want Flying Column level 2, that's how you do it, is you by marching. And we can eventually unlock another stat. Apparently, these stats we've unlocked by just marching all over the place. None of the other armies have unlocked perks yet. I feel bad that at some point I want to remove Harney and put somebody else there. That's not the biggest issue. McClellan will be the biggest issue once we're ready to move this army. But until that point, it doesn't really matter. In fact, why are his supplies at 93%? Is there not a supply depot here? I think we should be fine supply one. Later on, there's also technology we can unlock that allows us to upgrade supply depots, but we're not there yet. There you go, Harney. Oh, as he's flying across the map. I might think about building a fort. If we build a fort somewhere around here, that might make it so that the enemy ships are less likely to show up. Where are the enemy ships? I don't see any ships here. Just keep going downriver there, Harney. How are they blockading it? Are they blockading it from farther downriver? If that's the case, then Harney, you can't do anything about it. Where do I want to position you? I'd love to move you down towards Memphis, but you don't really have... Your army's pretty weak. You'll be like, hey, we're pretty strong. Alright, we'll move you back here into the center of Missouri as we get ready to try and build these armies up as soon as we get that next level of army enlistment time period. Our home squadron's up to 23 ships. I don't know how many of those... Are any of those captured ships? 3 of them are. Very interesting. They're little ships, but they're ships nonetheless. Our Navy's been kicking ass. How are we doing army-wise compared to them? They have 30,000 more troops than we do. So we kind of got to get on that recruiting soon. We're pretty close. In less than a day, we'll have unlocked level 3. Level 3, that's such a gamer term. It's 3-year contracts. Hey, you guys get level 3. What? You have to serve for 3 years of your life. Why don't you just say that? The Union extends contracts to 3 years. 3 years or the war. Alright, so we're prepared for the long war now with contracts. Which means I want to totally change how we're recruiting. Or I should say our unit setup. But I also want to pick what policy is next. I think we're going to go with government funding. Funding policies permit legislation that can result in new sources of income to finance the war. The maximum amount of annual economy subsidies is increased per policy level, allowing the financing of further projects to improve the nation's economy and credit rating. I also want industry too, but I think this is more important right now. That should help us with... I think that will actually get us a better borrow rate too temporarily. So if we go into our armies, let's go into our armies. Alright, let's click on Sumner. I don't know why these guys have 24-month contracts. I thought they were 3 months. Maybe when they re-upped, they automatically got bigger contracts. That's possible. I'm not quite sure how that works. What I am going to want to do, though, is get rid of these divisions eventually, or these brigades, because they're so small. I don't want small brigades. I want the bigger brigades. So I'm going to recruit... I'm not just going to fire these guys, though. I don't want to fire the entire army while I wait to hire a new army that might take a month or 2 to get there, because that seems like that would be a bad idea. I'm going to go through here. I'm going to hire the people I want, and then I'm going to show you it, and then we're going to wait for them to show up. And as they show up, we will sort of decommission these undersized brigades. Well, we won't with Hooker's brigade. So if you look at the gray units, these are units that I have issued orders that we're going to recruit, but they're not here yet. I want to be on this. Mostly New York units. New York, Ohio, another New York, another New York, another New York, one from Maine, one from New York. That's because these are all kind of in the northeast. We want things that are a little bit closer to where we are. I think I'm going to change the command structure too. I am not happy with all the commanders in this unit, especially division commander wise. Like, you can see these 2 little stars here. They got these stars from that last battle, because that was a hell of a fight. And some of them did well, like Richardson did well. Sheridan did amazing. Grant actually did okay, even though he ran at some point. Sherman did really good. There are some people who did well, and there's some people who didn't. Runyon didn't do well. He became demoralized, and Tyler became demoralized, and their stats are not particularly impressive. So I think I want to replace them. I kind of want to replace Sumner too. I don't know if I'm going to. I'm going to think about that for a moment. But I know Runyon and Tyler are going to get replaced, and I might move Grant, Sherman, and Sheridan. I might move them out west. Give me a moment and I'll figure it out. Oh, one other quick thing. All these brigades, these are the brigades that we're going to decommission once the new recruits are in, because these are the old undersized brigades. You know, like Burnside's got 600 dudes, less than 600 dudes. That's not going to be very effective in the fighting that we're going to be doing very shortly. As I'm setting up the Department of Pennsylvania too, one of the things I'd love to show you is we can also recruit from southern states. In the war, people from certain states, more border states, fought for either side. Not one person fighting for both sides, but you know, you might have someone from Tennessee that fought for the north, or somebody from Missouri that fought for the south. So we can recruit from Tennessee. In fact, we're going to recruit a brigade of troops there. Let's take a look at the new revamped army. I'm not going to get rid of these units. What do you call them? Demuster them? Release them? Release the troops until the new ones are showed up. And the new ones should all be here between a month and 2 months, depending on how far they have to travel. I have transferred Grant, Sheridan, and Sherman out of this army. I've promoted Richardson up to division commander. I got rid of Runyon here. I guess Tyler will probably keep his job. If he has another poor showing, he'll be gone. Only because he stole my sexy haircut. That's why he gets a second chance. And Sumner will stay for the moment. You can see the Department of Pennsylvania, just adding that. I would like to add bigger artillery units, but we've not unlocked them yet, so we just have to go with these smaller ones that only have like 16 guns? Wait. Oh, maybe we do have the bigger ones unlocked. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. The Department of Ohio. This is the army that was McClellan's. He's been replaced. Grant is going to take over the army, the Department of the Ohio. Sherman and Sheridan are going to be division commanders under him, along with Duval. Most of these new units are going to have smoothbore muskets, because that's all we really have in any big numbers. The Department of the West, they're going to get a couple more brigades. They're not going to get a lot. Harney is going to get probably he's going to get the least amount of troops to start with, just because there's a lot less going on that far west. And hopefully, as some of these armies get ready, these armies are going to take longer to, frankly, get ready, because they've gotten significantly bigger. So the amount of time it takes for them on readiness is going to be a little more difficult. But hopefully, like getting rid of McClellan, who is horrible at initiative, and putting Grant in there, who's good at that, will speed that up. And I would love to... I was like, let's go attack again. When this army is built up fully, it'll be closer to 32,000. It won't be at that much, though, because then we'll start to get rid of the old units. Crittenden-Johnson Resolution. A war aims resolution passed by Congress. A bill to preserve the Union. No action against slavery. Bill passes almost unanimously. Thaddeus Stevens abstained from voting. Well, we're going to do stuff about slavery once we have the ability to. There are policies regarding that. If we get down to... I think we got to go down this way, down through the Military Act. Then we can do the Emancipation Proclamation. In fact, that might be the next thing we go after. As much as I want industry too, that might be the next thing, because that would affect... Well, it would be freeing people. It's the right thing to do. Plus, it's good for the war effort. Eventually, we can get more troops that way, deny the enemy resources, and free millions of people from bondage. It's all win-win, baby. I'm sure Frederick Douglass coined that in one of his books. He was actually very good at writing. At least in my opinion, I've read one of his books. Do we have... Right here, this I really want. Cavalry regiments are traditionally used by army commanders for scouting, as messengers to relay orders, or to perform guard duties in the rear in small detachments. Progressive cavalry officers, oh, they're so woke, are against this kind of dispersed use and are in favor of more independent cavalry use. This requires reforming organization, introducing cavalry brigades. Brigaded, the cavalry could support the army command's operations more effectively and even be able to stand their ground against infantry if needed. This project updates all existing cavalry brigade units to brigades and allows recruitment of cavalry brigades up to 2,500 troopers. I want that. So we're going to pick that. That's a pretty big deal. We're going to pick administration reform too to help us get policies enacted faster. That's pretty good. In fact, we're going right back to the recruitment screen. Because if we look at, let's go back to the Army of Northeastern Virginia. We're getting kind of low on the amount of troops we can recruit still, but that's all right. If we look at our one cavalry unit here, it only has 200 troops. 205. And that's not very practical. So I'm going to recruit... Let's see, what are we going to get? Somewhere in the Northeast. Let's get a Massachusetts unit of cavalry. Let's give them some... No, I don't want a blue shirt. Let's give them some gray... No, can we give them red for the Boston Red Sox? There we go. And they're going to be kind of hard to see. They're very down here at the bottom. Runyon? No, I don't want Runyon in charge of this unit. We want somebody who's better at cavalry. Alright, we'll put Sturgis in charge of it. He's actually specialized in cavalry. And then we'll build... Yeah, we'll do another one too. Maybe we'll do this one for Maryland. Let's get them into something more appropriate. Shit, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to get cavalry. I did infantry, whatever. Alright, Alright, we'll do a New Hampshire regiment. Ignore what I screwed up before. We'll be able to use those other troops. He'll be fine as... Wait, who was the commander? Dury? I guess that's okay. That's not my first choice. And then we're going to do that for the other units, too. For the other army, they're all going to get 1 to 2 cavalry brigades. So the Department of the West is going to get 1. The Ohio, the Pennsylvania, and the Army of Northeastern Virginia. I should have a more consistent nomenclature for naming. I'm just using the names they've given us. And I'm going to build a new army. This new army is going to have a very specific goal. This army is going to be based in Michigan. We're not going to have Hancock in charge because it's not going to be that kind of a military. I want Michigan cavalry units. I want some... What else we got from... We'll take some Illinois cavalry units. Let's get a bunch of Midwesterners. And let's get some Wisconsin cavalry units. Okay, so Pleasanton, he's already good at cavalry. They don't have to be, but it's a bonus for that. And we want a different commander. Even though... Oh, wait, Hancock should be in charge of something. Huh, I gotta put him in charge of a division or something somewhere. But this army is gonna have a very particular job, and I'm looking for another Michigan man. Since we have a Michigan unit there, I want George Armstrong Custer. So this is gonna be... It's not gonna be the Army of the West. It's just gonna be Custer's army. Their goal is gonna be... They're just cavalry. Is I want to set them up near other armies so that they can quickly reinforce them. This is going to be like a kind of quick reinforcement army. So Tyler, I was going to let you stay because of your sexy haircut. But then when I saw Hancock is out there, where is he? Oh, he's only a captain. Alright, you're a division commander now, Hancock. We should have superior division commanders now. I mean, Porter's still there, but Porter did well last time. Hancock and Richardson haven't been promoted to the Army of Northeastern Virginia. Where is Custer's army? I think it's going to be in Michigan. Wait, what? Why is it in Iowa? I thought I set it up for Michigan. We're going to have Custer's army move over here. Probably right towards Baltimore. For the moment. That or closer to Fredericksburg. Maybe closer to Fredericksburg. Hopefully in range so it can support either of these armies very quickly. Now right now it doesn't matter. The only person in the army, it says 1, is Custer himself. He is the army. I guess he's got some stationery he takes with him everywhere. Check me out! I've got the stationery and everything. Speaking of stationery, let's check out how our fleets are doing. How's our blockade going? Looking good. That number's ticking up with the trade warfare. We are denying them a significant amount of money. It's like 79 million now. Because of our effective blockade. And it's going to take a month or 2 for these armies to fully fill up. Looking at the men fielded, I was going to be like, wait, they still field way more men than us. And they do. But that's because the people I just issued orders to muster and recruit they're not recruited yet. It's going to take time for them to recruit and for them to get put into their armies. How long? 17 days for that, 18 days for that unit, 15, 26, 37. Some of the ones out west, like the Army of the Ohio, is going to take longer, I think, because some of those units are coming from farther north, farther away. Though they're actually not badly situated here in the north of the South, or south of the Midwest. The other really cool thing is, and this is a nice attention to detail, not attachment. I love detail. I can't leave it. It's my favorite. Is the little line here? This whole army you can see is just cavalry because it's got the cavalry line, whereas the rest of these that have the infantry brigade are a full army. You can also see that our economy is significantly bigger than theirs. It says federal slight advantage, but we're making like over 120 million. Maybe that's GDP for the year than them, probably. That probably means then that the money that is being denied is over the course of a year. That's probably opposed to GDP. And we've won 3 battles. We've only won 1 ground battle. The other battles were all naval battles. I feel like we've won more than 3 battles at sea, but I could be wrong. It says what it says, or at least 3 that counted in a way that affects national support. Our morale's pretty good. Their morale's a little better. We have more loyal states. Their national support is better than us, though, and national morale. We can change that with policies. One thing, like, if we emancipate the slaves, which I want to do anyway, that's going to be good for morale. I think I figured out why we had artillery reform. That must be why the brown stuff went away before. That sounds wrong. I stupidly had auto-managed projects on here. And that's why we have artillery battalions that are 16 strong now. That works out, because I wanted that in cavalry. I just didn't realize I had that. So that when we're building these new artillery units, in fact, I'm going to build a couple more then. I would like to have 1 for each of these guys. Let's build 1 from West Virginia. You've already got 3. Eventually, too, I would like to maybe have separate artillery divisions, but that's down the road. And we'll upgrade that with a 12-pound howitzer. I've upgraded all the cannons to bigger howitzers. That's mostly what we have in stock. Later on, we'll hopefully be able to build things that are, I don't know, cooler? More accurate, longer range? Better? More destructive? And so now we sit and wait. I know this episode was a lot of building up the army, rearranging stuff, putting things in different places, but this sets us up that once these new units are in the army, then we can hopefully have an offensive that lasts longer than our last one, which lasted like 2 days. And in fact, once we get these troops in, we may actually have an army that's bigger than the Confederates, and hopefully we can start pushing on multiple fronts once everything's in place. And that's going to take in-game time about a month or 2. And this is such a nice sight too, right? No more McClellan. We got Grant here in Kentucky. Hopefully him and his boys will be ready to go soon. I'm looking forward to going on the offense. While I'm at it, let's take a look at our finances. Lots of numbers and graphs. I'm sure that's enough. How much longer until this policy is done? 16 days. Okay, it's a little bit yet on that. That's the financial policy we're working on. In real life, it's my policy of being broke all the time. Just like the US government. Huzzah! Only I can't print money. Nobody takes the money I print with pictures of myself on it. I should put pictures of kitties on it. People love that. They probably still want to take my fake money. That's probably how bottle caps got used in the Fallout world. Somebody's like, hey, these got a lot of value. Wait, they do? Yeah, so why don't you give me some food for them? Okay, look at me, honey, I'm rich, I got bottle caps. And then everyone just pretended they understood. How's Custer's army coming along? Well, he's made a lot of progress. He's already out of Iowa. Across Illinois, halfway through Indiana. The joy of going through Amish country. He's like, I just saw the Jackson 5. And that's the way you travel through Gary, Indiana. You don't go to Gary, Indiana. You travel through Gary, Indiana. Gary, Indiana, Gary, Indiana. If you're watching this video, comment if you've ever smelled Gary, Indiana before. I don't know if it still smells. I haven't been by there. When I was a kid, because of the industry there, oh man, you could smell that city from miles away. I believe they're probably more anti-pollution measures in place now than there were in the early 80s. Back when you could enjoy the smell of unleaded gas. Ah, joyous, let's just huff that. Or I say leaded gas, actually. That's why we have unleaded. That's why you have to specify. Normally you wouldn't have to specify if something's not in it. You know, if you make Thanksgiving dinner, you don't have to be like, it's unpoisoned turkey. Because you're like, that's normally the way it is. Oh, we can see an army way down here. 23,000 strong. That doesn't mean our information is 100% correct. Holy crap, they have over 100,000 men in their army. Oof. That's a big oof. How many more can we recruit? 38,000? The Union issues new bonds. What's the rate? 9.5%. Ooh. Ooh. That rate keeps going up as that goes down. We have to be careful, too, how many people we recruit. Because there comes a point, I think it's when we hit B-, that we can't go any lower. Diplomacy 1 policy enacted. Confederate diplomats to Europe. New trade deals proposed. Weapon imports discussed. The Confederacy is desperate because they need better weapons, if they want decent ships, and if they want to get the English involved in the war, they need more diplomacy, and that's what they're focusing on with their policy. Which is not something I'm a fan of. We want to keep Europe out of this as long as possible. Ideally, like, forever. And so far, Europe's not so stupid that they're going to get involved with the Confederate War, but they could, if enough things happen. And the bigger thing is that they could sell them weapons. That's what I don't want. We have a slight advantage well, we have a big industrial advantage, but we have a slight advantage when it comes to manufacturing. In fact, I can probably turn auto-manage of this back on. I don't know. I don't want the brown ones used. Because there are policies I want for those things. I know there's some industries that could be more efficient that way, but right now, I should say projects. There's some projects that are more important to me. Like, I want to be able to build better guns. Right now, the best thing we can build is not smoothbore, rifled Springfield muskets. And though that's going to be pretty good for us, I would love to get some repeaters. Or some modern carbines. Or maybe eventually a Gatling gun, though I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Oh, and in fact, if you look at the left of your screen, the number in parentheses, some of the units are starting to roll in. I think that unit might be new. Yeah, it's got to be. It's a 36-month contract. And one of these is Buchanan's. Oh, they need better weapons than that. Let's give them some smoothbore muskets. They will eventually be attached to one of the divisions once I've cleared some of this crap out. The troops are like, you're so harsh, sir. You're so harsh. I don't mean you're crap. I'm just saying this unit's crap. I mean, we fought really hard in that battle. I'm just saying it's an undersized brigade, and those are a liability. We want to have the big brigades. I hear women like big brigades. I'm guessing that's where we're going to end it for this episode. It's been a little bit of a quieter episode as we reorganize our military. There'll be a little bit more of that to do in the next episode as we start to decommission the small units that we don't need anymore. And then hopefully, maybe next episode, maybe plan some offensives. We've got to get more troops online too, though. They have 130,000. We only have 64,000. We're closing that gap, though, as these troops are starting to roll in, ready to fight for the Union. I'll see you all next time.